So when it comes to implementing the AWS plan with all the habitat work, hinge cutting, bedding areas, food plots, all the access, one of the most important things is not only our human access so we can enter and hunt specific spots, but also keeping our border secure so no outside intrusion can affect how the deer are moving and how our strategies for hunting kind of affects the whole big plan.
Sometimes one of the hardest things of managing any piece of property is just keeping the trespassers out. So one of the first steps to going out and posting this property is we need to get the signs prepped and ready. Now we want to put out a sign that's going to last a long time. We plan on putting a lot of time and effort into this. So we want something that's not going to blow off with the wind or deteriorate over tons of exposure from the elements over the years. So we're using an aluminum sign. We're cutting out a nice 1/2, 3/4 inch plywood that's weather treated so it's going to last a long time. And we're going to staple and mount these aluminum signs to them, and we're going to go and place them strategically around the property. Keep in mind we've never really explored this property much before, so while we're out here kind of working the property edges and posting, we're also going to get a nice lay of the land and a feel of the land and how it kind of flows too. In working with AWS and establishing this management plan, it's really important to get the border posted and keep trespassers off there as soon as possible and establish that ground early.
We're going to head out. Me and Chris are going out there today. Snow's a little bit deep, but we're going to go out and try to surround the borders of the 55-acre property and secure that one off first.
There's a lot of areas that this is going to be set up to where there's sanctuaries, and throughout the year you're just not going to move through there, period. And so we can't have people coming in from other parts of the land that we don't know or that doesn't have access to be there and coming in and spooking deer out of certain strategic areas. So we're putting a lot of time, money, and effort into this project. So any outside intrusion can really mess up the entire plan.
Yeah, so here's an old fence post, which typically is close to the border, but back in the day when they have a bunch of cattle in here and stuff, they didn't necessarily hit the mark exactly, so we just pull up the HuntWise app. Shows you our north border right here, and it's actually pretty dang close, so we could probably just follow this fence line and post up on any trees that we feel like be a good marker. Let's follow this and throw a couple signs up.
Sounds good.
This one right here, it's actually a good tree.
Yeah, it might be a good one. Looks like a little access into the woods. Here's like the nice flat area right here. Above the knuckle, below the curve out.
Is it?
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good.
So visibility is a big thing when posting, and there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. You want to put signs up on high traffic areas where maybe there's an old logging road or a trail or a stand or something where the neighbors can visually see the sign. And then trying to get the sign a little bit higher and look around for any type of plants or branches, because later on in the year when the foliage starts to pop up and there's a lot of leaves in place, you don't want your sign to be just completely blocked out by a wall of leaves. So, keep an eye on it, maybe even clear out a couple of those little branches and try to find a nice big tree where your sign sticks out and it's nice and visible to everybody. All right, on to the next one.
So the sign we decided to go with, it's a nice aluminum sign. You're gonna get probably 10 years at least off of these for a lifespan. Also, it's got a great message on there. We have a lot of wireless cameras out that we're gonna put out on the property, and just tons of trail cameras in general. It's a really good deterrent. It's a good, strong message. Hey, this property's posted. We don't want people coming on here without proper authority. You are being recorded, so it just reassures in their mind, like, yeah, we're not gonna get away with something trying to sneak in on these guys' property.
neighboring property, maybe we should get a sign up here on one of these big oak trees. A lot of times if you check out the big oaks, they're right along the line.
When we first got the property, we've done a little bit of spot checking around it. We've noticed there had been some activity on the property prior to that, some stands and just sign of people being on the property.
So we found a couple stands along the border. You know, a couple of them were on our side of the property, a few of them were on the other, but maybe shooting towards our land. You know, we don't want to be just total jerks and pull the stands down or anything and be rude about it, but we will get a hold of those neighbors and try to work something out. We don't want people obviously trespassing, shooting on our land, or even hunting on our property as a liability standpoint, but we want to get off on the right foot with the neighbors and try to work things out. So we're going to leave the stand in place and give them a call. This big white oak tree looks like it's on our side, so we can put one of our signs up right there and it should be nice and visible. Hey, check this out.
Oh, nice.
What buck is this?
Oh, nice.
So being that we're later in the year, but we still have a lot of snowfall on the ground, you know, sheds are hard to come by, but we know a lot of the bucks in the area, most of them, probably 90–95% of the bucks have shed already. So as we're walking around, we're keeping an eye out, checking a few bedding areas, and we did stumble upon a nice buck, a 3-year-old buck that we have a lot of trail camera videos of, a lot of history of, and we're hoping, you know, if we can get him a couple more years down the road, this is gonna be one that we're gonna want to target. He's a nice buck. So every time this buck would hit a scrape, yeah, I know this deer, he would hit a scrape and he would use his main beam. He just kept scooping up the ground, kind of like a bull elk in a water hole. Pretty nice buck, you know, for a 3-year-old, 10-pointer. Nothing crazy. Actually lost his eye too, so he must have been sparring in this area, this little bench, and lost his eye, so.
Crazy.
That's a pretty cool buck. It's definitely one we want to let go a couple more years and see what he turns into. First shed of the year. Deep snow. Surprised we even found it.
No kidding. So this has been a really fun and exciting new process for us. You know, we're first-time landowners, never had that before.
And it seems like every time we go out to the property, we find something new, something exciting, and it's just a constant process of finding new things. It's just so exciting, the potential out there. How many different things you can do to enhance the habitat.
It's just really fun and exciting to get out there and just seeing what this property holds.
Now that we own a property, something that we can go in and if we want to doze a trail, if we want to cut a tree, if we want to plant a food plot, put a water hole in, you know, a property we can do that on, it just keeps your mind going 24/7, 365, and it's a unique feeling, and it's something that's really exciting knowing that every time you go out there, there's something that you can do to improve the property. In the end, it's just going to make it that much more rewarding. So we got the property posted, and now the next step is Andy's going to be coming back up, and we're going to work on a few things. We have hinge cutting planning and hinge cutting implementation on parts of the property this year, along with some timber evaluation and possibly logging and dozer work. So, you know, turkey season, mushroom hunting, a lot of stuff going on. We're excited to move forward and hit the next step of the plan.